Hey, hi, hello, I'm Bushwookie and welcome to my channel. We're on Act 5 of Kentucky Route Zero. We left off kind of on a mystery here. I mean, the whole thing's a mystery, but we left off realizing that Emily, Ben, and Bill here that work at the TV station are actually the Emily, Ben, and Bill that were playing with a 20-sided dice down at the gas station basement. So, gonna find out how that all intertwines together. Not sure how long this episode is gonna be. I don't know. Like, I plan on finishing up the entire game in this episode, so it may be short, it may be long. I don't know. I know this is the final act of the game, so may not take too long, and it might take quite a while. But I'm ready to wrap it up. Rita tore up weeds. Elmo stood next to her with a bucket. She passed him the uprooted weeds and he stuffed them in the bucket. They worked this way for a few hours. Dark clouds drifted slowly closer, but wouldn't arrive until evening. Rita left to get some tea. Elmo sat in the dirt. He pulled up a blade of grass and held it in the path of a ladybug. When it boarded the grass and Elmo lifted them both into the air, he held the bug close in front of his face and tried to count its spots. Rita came back with a plastic jug of sweet tea. They sat and drank for a while, and then they got back to work. The garden was coming along as well as they could hope, given months of neglect. The garden was coming along as they could hope, given months of neglect. When the plant shut down, the company abruptly pulled out of the area and took a large part of the town's population with it. This included the Carver family, who had tended this garden, the largest and most productive in town, for years. Now the garden would be cared for by a new family and feed what was left of the town and whatever it became next. They didn't know much about the gardening, but they were prepared to learn on the job. They knew for sure they would plant tomatoes. Those had grown well from this garden in the past. Rita and Elmo worked until it started to rain. The rain washed up their sweat in the dirt. Yeah, I'd be worried about that too. Well, and isn't just the rodents. The floors are mostly rotted, I think. You'd fall right through. I'm surprised they're still standing after last night. All the buildings? No, most of them have good bones. Just these ones the power company built that are rotten. Oh, okay. Yeah, the power company moved in here a while back and set it up like their own little town. For the workers. But they didn't build them too good, huh? It's garbage. They couldn't be bothered. I lived in that one over there, in fact, when I first came here to work at the power plant. Oh, yeah? I wouldn't set foot in there now, though. Haha. Choppy seas today, Captain. Aye, Captain. Let's reinforce the sails. Clyde lay on his back on the runway, hands folded behind his head, halfway between dreams and the afternoon sun. He entertained the momentary delusion that he'd survived a plane crash and was vaguely unhappy when the dream faded. Coming into land, he slammed into a truck. The driver probably thought the runway was another road. The runway smelled like oil, years of leaky light aircraft taking off and landing. All the state said they wanted was to knock down some trees, many trees, and build a road trying the small town to the larger web of streets and highways that entombed the rest of the country. But Clyde and his inner circle of stunt pilots turned mail carriers knew that a road would be the end of their secluded paradise. Some of these are really old. Maybe we should open them. Haha, he says not to open other people's mail, kid. I know what he said. But if they're not even here to open it themselves... I won't tell a soul. She watched him. She stood in her own shadow. A few deer hunters and talkers walked past, but said nothing to the seer. Didn't even look. She started the path. This was the path the seer had found in her scrying game, a series of private dice rolls and inscrutable diagrams. The community trusted this game. It had led them to fish-filled streams, intimate knowledge of the elements and stars, even here to the settlement. They trusted it without understanding it. Now the game had revealed to the seer this vital route which would lead them to safety before the next floods come. At the end of the route, she had seen a safe place, quiet place, caverns of leathery black birds, a lake of eyeless fish, a towering flame. Now the diver walked to the mounds, memorizing the route. He was almost ready. Heavier than they look. Sure, everyone's heavier after they've passed. It's only natural. The spirit has no weight. In fact, it lifts us up a little. Oh, it's you again. Yeah, well, feel free to pitch in. I'm sure this would go a lot quicker with two of us on it. Busy, huh? What left Sunbeam unslept in? Suit yourself, I'll be here. Would you believe it came to me in a dream? One of those dreams where you're lost somewhere kind of familiar and anonymous, like a bus terminal. Mariana's quiet for a moment. It's nice. What's it for? They're gonna put this up on the old barn as part of a ceremony. I'm honored to tell you the truth. Until finally it just gave way. But you did good work. It's not your fault. They didn't let you finish, that's all. If they let you finish, oh, forget about it. This place would be dry as a bone. You always did good work. It's a memorial. Reading an envelope. How about Greg Rabbit? The rabbit? No, like, Rabbit is his last name. Well, there's no Greg or Rabbit here. Not anymore, at least. Great. Opens the envelope. It is our privilege. It is our privilege to inform you that your Apple application has been accepted. Your studies can begin as soon as you arrive. Good job. Yeah, good job, Greg. I hope he got the message eventually. I wonder what he studied. Artichokes. What? Oh no, architecture. Look at this place, the library. Ah, what a mess. I feel like I should give you a tour, but let's skip the good part. Any questions? Was it for people or animals? Mostly animals for years now. We used to keep our videotapes here, but the raccoons... My first friend, Bert, says the work of history is to find a pattern in the unasked questions. In the evening when the Chinese wall was finished, where did the masons go? You'd fit right in here. Sure, it's a mess right now, but there's some residual energy from those fearless experimenters that I don't think will ever dissipate. I could stay here. What's good, little dude? We were talking about the library. Oh, are you in the band? What do you think, kid? We've got room for a drummer. I'm great at drums. I know where all the buttons are. Ron dug a grave. Hey, this book's in pretty good shape. The City of Ladies. Interesting. No, I've never read it either. Good question. Let's take a look. Here we go. Minerva, Circe, Sappho, and some ladies from the Bible. I think they all get together and build a city. Sounds nice. I'll get us a bus ticket, eh? But before that, it was the company store. What kind of stuff did they stock? Remember they sold these little paper flowers. Not even real flowers? No way, they didn't even stock vanilla extract. I had to make my own. If you want and you promise to keep a secret, I'll pass on my waffle recipe before I head out. Why so secretive? I just can't bear the thought of any son of a bitch from that power company eating one of my waffles. Back before the power company pulled out, I was in fear for my life half the time. We ought to just set this place on fire. I'd like to see that, but I think if we take out the tables and knock a couple of walls down, this place would make a good concert venue. "3A, lay paper flat. 3B, bring bottom left corner up to the top right corner. 3C, crease with firm, steady pressure along diagonal fold. Nikki applied only gentle pressure. Looser flowers felt more alive. She rolled her wrists, and it was the 6th hour of her assigned company store shift, and she'd made dozens of flowers. Ron had bought a bouquet and cleaned out their stock this afternoon. Repeat steps 4A through 7 for each petal, taking care not to rip the filaments from step 9. She put Ron's bouquet down in the sales ledger as romantic bouquet, but really he was just buying it in bulk at a small discount since the company started allowing resident workers to donate paper flowers to Aunt Connie for civic enthusiasm points. Exchangeable for sick days, they had become kind of a shadow currency for local trade. A commotion outside caught Nikki's attention. Men yelling, blows landing. She put down her work and stepped out just in time to see the crowd disperse. Clyde and Cass sat cross-legged in the shade of a light aircraft, Cass shuffling cards and Clyde absently flipping through a stack of unopened letters. They called themselves the Dervish Brothers Flying Circus, a name that outlived the Dervish Nadalton brothers themselves, who died within the first few years, so run of the circus was left to their Aunt Cassandra, who everyone called Cass. There were 3 Dervish brothers. 2 were women. The oldest had flown a reconnaissance plane at the tail end of the war. They then returned home to teach his younger sisters the art of trick flying. None of them were gifted pilots, but they were fearless. Demand for aerial stunts having faded almost completely, and many of their company having died or aged out of the profession, Clyde and Cass found for their remaining pilots a steady flow of contract work delivering mail to remote rural areas. But this place was abandoned. Cass's cards predicted they'd be here for quite a while. Where'd they go? I wonder if these blotchy people are like memories of this place. I really like this knife. It has an aura. Know what I mean? An aura. Yeah, like it wasn't exactly used to cut apples. It's meant for greater things. Yes, ma'am. 6 feet? That's the standard. Standard for people anyway, but... maybe I ought to stick to the traditional depth out of respect. Just what are we burying here anyway? Is it them or us? Or some mix of both? I wonder what it would have been company policy on hiring centaurs. Strong and smart, but probably union. If those greedy sons of bitches had finished their drainage dip when they were supposed to, I ought to hike through the woods and give them a piece of my mind. Aw, oh, damn. There he goes. Can we go in after him? In the bushes? Yeah. After the raccoon? Yeah. No. But it's probably full of thorns. Yeah, but raccoon. It's not happening. Okay, okay. Oh, don't pout. Tell you what, if that raccoon comes back into town, we'll leave some food out for him. Yes, ma'am. Hey. Hey, don't run in the graveyard. Why not? It's... people are trying to rest. What the fuck? The horses disappeared. Okay. I mean, I think they said something about hanging on the barn, so maybe... there we go. Hand me that rag, would you? The one with the embroidered bird on it. This one? Does it have a bird on it? I think so. Don't you know what a bird looks like? Yeah, but it's pretty small. I thought it was some letters. I guess that could be a bird on there. Well, it's a rag, ain't it? As long as it's a rag, I guess it'll work for mopping sweat. Yeah, it's a rag for sure. Alright, man, let's see what you've got. This one looks like it might still play. Oh, Bill Monroe, great. Yeah, we had a few of his. Man, this is a brainstormer. Popular? Or a barnstormer. They used to be, but then the jukebox started to wear down. The longer it would run, the slower it would play. And then these weird echoes would start to come in. Like the music was leaking and just pooling up in the bottom somewhere until everything was drowning. After a few hours, no matter what you put in that jukebox, it'd come out strange, wrong. I don't know, that sounds pretty cool to me, man. even lived in there for a bit. No way. Yeah, too drafty. I moved out one winter and never looked back. It gets cold? Sure, when the sun is down. Nice old church, though. Really nice. Could make a nice workshop. There you go. Yeah, I'll miss them for sure. Beautiful creatures, so thoughtful. I bet. Where do you think they'll go? You'll go. Yeah, hard to say. Everybody's leaving. Not that I blame them. Sometimes you only need a few people. I think the ceremony is around dusk. Yeah, we'll stick around. Nowhere to be. Where are you flying to? Flying? Ha! I'm just checking to see if everything's working okay. You could fly her somewhere if you wanted to, though, right? Of course. So why don't you? Here we go. Keep your distance now. Guess he's just gonna run over that ghost person. Alright. Who did you say it was, brother? Who was it? Fell by the way? When whiskey and blood run together? Did you hear anyone pray? I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway. But I didn't hear nobody pray. When I heard the crash on the highway, I knew what it was from the start. I went to the scene of destruction, and a picture was stamped on my heart. There was whiskey and blood all together, mixed with glass where they lay. Death played her hand in destruction, but I didn't hear nobody pray. I wish I could change the sad story that I am now telling you. But there is no way I can change it. For somebody's life is now through. Their soul has been called by the Master. They died in a crash on the way. And I heard the groans of the dying. But I didn't hear nobody pray. I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway. But I didn't hear nobody pray. So it sounds like he's talking about the guy that was working at the whiskey company that took Conway away, because there was an accident on the highway and it was one of the whiskey trucks. Might be coincidental, but I kinda highly doubt it. Oh, I don't know, just a bunch of old stuff. It's hard to imagine someone ordering this. Like these things, specifically. Why these things? This folding rocking chair, it's nice, but it's so peculiar. Someone really wanted this chair? Now we're setting it all up, trying to reverse engineer this person we never met. I kind of feel like we are that person. We're making that person right now, together. Yeah, thanks. That helps. Hey y'all, thanks for sticking around for this. I know we've all got places to, well, if anybody still needs somewhere to go, but be sure and speak up, okay? I think Ron's heading through the woods tonight. Back to the road if you want to caravan. You staying, Em? Nah, I'm heading out too. I'm gonna help James move the image processor to a safe place on the river somewhere. For right now, though, we've got some friends to bury. The neighbors. Nikki has a poem, and I have a song. If anyone wants to say anything, though, I'll go first. The neighbors were kind, gentle, beautiful horses. I used to go on walks with the silver one out in the woods by... Why didn't anybody ever give them names? The silver one. Well, I guess he was gray, but his coat looked silver in the light, so I always called him that in my head. And the other one is the other one. And I love these horses, but you'd never know it if you heard me talk about them like that. So I'm sorry, Silver One and the other one. Sorry I don't have better names for you. You deserved better names. Also, sorry I'm so bad at this. Anybody else have something to say? We didn't give them names because their names weren't ours to give. The horses were here before us, you know. They came with the people from Central America, you know, the Utopians, the people of nothing. The people of nothing arrived by horseback in October, and their first experiment was to free the horses. That was generations ago, of people and horses. I don't know when we started calling them the neighbors. We should have called them the people, I think. They were the only consistent residents of this place for over 100 years. And now they're all gone. Who are the people now? I've got something to say. I just want to say these horses used to crap on my floors, but it never bothered me too much. I never mentioned it to anyone. I didn't want to make a thing of it. But if we're clearing the air, well, that happened and it's okay. I mean, recently, too. I was cleaning up horse crap just a couple days ago, but I'm saying it was okay. It would have been okay if any of you wanted to crap on my floors. I just want to say that. I would have cleaned up after any of you if you crapped on my floor. Thanks, Ron. Okay, I guess we'd better move on. Nikki, you ready? Thanks for sticking around. Like Emily said, it's so good to have you all here with us. I think the neighbors would have liked this. All of us gathered here. They like to be around people. Maya, you and our other visitors might not know about the out-of-towner. He came here to work for the company, to dig a ditch, and the company worked him good and hard, and for less than he was worth, but it wasn't enough. They had to use him up completely. After that, we became ungovernable. First out of shame, then grief, then anger. This is a poem for the neighbors, but it's also for this town. Yeah, we're gonna bury this town today. When we bury these horses, it's the same thing. We're gonna bury these horses, and what do you think will happen next? We'll all walk out in the woods and leave this place empty? No, I guess some of us might stay and build again. That's alright. It couldn't be me, but to try is your birthright. If you do stay, you'll be building on top of a grave. But that's true anywhere. The whole world is built on top of graves. Look for me under your boot soles, as the fella says. Nikki clears her throat and begins reading from the paper she's holding. We all leave town and call that town a ghost. What ghost gave this town breath and made it home? And now that breath has gone, we buried it here. What's left is not a ghost, it's just the bones. Her hand trembles a bit as she reads from the paper. Our neighbors were the best of us, of course. It's always so. Our better selves, clear of ourselves, where we can see their glory glow. They glow now underground, our friends with love. To greener pastures we might say, but lie. But staring at the clouds, my vision showed in distant valleys home to better friends. Some other cherished fools will build their home. Then we buried the horses.
I've heard of a land of joy and peace and wonderful life, a beautiful place of mansions fair and skies so bright, where all who believe the Savior dear forever shall stay. And having been saved by grace divine, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray, just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way. Well, glorious news I tell and sing as onward I go. For those who are still astray in sin, my Savior may know. I want them to sing that praise above some beautiful day. For glory to Him who died for me, I'm going that way. I know I shall meet Him at the gate when trials are past. I know I shall meet him face to face in glory at last. Oh, I believe that when we meet, well done, he'll say, while trusting my soul redeemed in love, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to him and never to stray. Just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way.
Oh, this game is really beautiful in a weird kind of way. Is that the end? Oh my gosh. Like, it was so good, you guys. Like, I could not have expected anything better from just like a random game that I decided. Like, this is just a random pick. Like, I never expected any of this. Like, this game was so freaking good. And I really do believe that there's probably, like, I mean, I think overall you're going to get, like, the same general ending of it. But, like, I feel like there's different routes you could have maybe taken to get slightly different stories. But, like, it's crazy. Like, there was just so much to it. Like, this game was so good. Like, I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. It was good. Like, wow. Unfortunately, I will not be doing another playthrough of it, especially not anytime too soon, but it was amazing. It was phenomenal. Like, I really enjoyed playing this. Like, there was just so much to it. Like, going into it, I had no idea what to expect, and this is what I got, and it was just, wow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If this was the first episode that you watched, like, there's, I think, part 11. You need to watch at least most of or play the game yourself. I don't care. Like, as much as I'd enjoy getting your views and likes and everything, like, even if you just wanted to play the game yourself, like, they deserve that recognition. This was great. It really was. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe, all that stuff if you did. If you want to see more stuff like this, drop it in the comments. Like, this was cool though. Like, this was really awesome. It's not my typical type of game I would play, but it was great. It really was. So I hope you guys enjoyed this journey, and I hope you join me on more, and until next time, Bushwookie out.